What is up, internets? People on YouTube, people on X and Kick. Because why not stream to multiple platforms? Because you never know what may or may not happen. But happy Friday, everyone. We're coming at you here with me at noon central. And I got a couple things I'm going to talk about today. Just, you know, finished watching Ted Lasso season 4, episode 1, the premiere of it, and I have some thoughts. I haven't really seen anyone talk about it yet, so we're going to talk about Ted Lasso and talk about The Matrix 5 and why they're so desperate to further drown that franchise and IP. And we'll talk about the status so far of X-Men 97 season 2. A couple other things just for kicks. I bookmarked a couple things, and I saw something that friend of the channel, fellow panelists on Mondays, Blue Collar Loser, sent in a group chat. I figured we might start with this. It was a pitch meeting for Spider-Man Brand New Day. I don't know if you guys have seen it yet, but something we'll maybe play as well. But what up, Corbo? How you doing, man? But yeah, not sure what else is going on this weekend. It's gonna be a low-key weekend for me. I am so glad to just be for it to be a chill day. Gonna go to the gym later. Gonna hit some back. I think I'm doing back today. Did chest last night. So what up, Mad Dog? How you doing, brother? Jax, good to see you as well again. Oh, I'm streaming again. Less than 20. Less than 12 hours. Oof. What up, Jamma? Can't stay have fun. Hop on for streaming in 90 minutes or so. Yeah, I might go for about 2 hours, probably. And then kind of go from there. But if anything, skim through the replay. See what you like. And I was reminded of a certain day today, a certain Italian man, not myself, but the short king, Franco Colombo. People may or may not have heard of him before, but he, the Sardinian Samson, people referred to him as, of course, in the bodybuilding world, is Arnold's training partner. Arguably, I'd say part of Arnold's success in the bodybuilding world was due to the fact that he trained and pushed Arnold on a lot of things, and he's only like 5'5", 5'4", maybe right on there. And the fact that, so the reason why I wanted to just bring him up, mention him today is because today, August 7th, 1941, 85 years ago, this legend right here was born. And as a fellow Italian man, I got to pay respect to one of the GOATs. Again, he's a short king, but passed away in 2019. Didn't get to see the world go to utter shit. Pardon my French. But, one of the most iconic poses right here. You got the Austrian oak and the Sardinian Samson right here. I mean, he did some incredible lifts, and just to kind of talk about some quick stats about the man. So it's approximately 5'5". So like, for people out there wondering like how big is so-and-so, like Kata, for example, if you know Kata, a little too short, shout out my dog. He's like 5'5", right? Rossi, other short king, he's like 5'3", like real life Wolverine size. If you know who Rossi is. But This man would walk around in the off season at 195, 200 pounds. And then he competed at 185 pounds. Now I'm 5'9", solid 5'9". Not like, oh, maybe 5'8". No. I'm a solid 5'9", without shoes on. And I'm fine with that, right? But the man, so I'm 5'9". I walk around right now at 185 pounds. Like, if I were to compete, which I thought about doing again, I would probably drop down to 170 pounds. So about a decade ago, when I was competing, or about to compete, I should say, I was 160, 165 pounds. I was super lean. I had about 7% body fat, and it was getting lower than that because you kind of just, drop the closer you get to competition. But just thinking that this man is 5'5" and 185 pounds when he competes. And then when he's not competing, he's 195 pounds, 200 pounds, just walking around. Crazy. But just even, and look, well, he did some roids, blah, blah, blah. I mean, sure, I get it. But the roids back then were different, and like you cycled, right? Like that's the whole thing. They cycled, so it wasn't something like, he's looking like this all the time. Because number one, it's not healthy, and it would just be impossible. He probably would have died a lot sooner. But thank God he didn't. We'll talk about the Matrix here in just a second. Ross is real life Wolverine character, not the animal. Yeah. True. What is 105 pounds in kilos instead of Eagle cheeseburger per football field per hour? I mean, it sounds like a good example we could ask ChatGPT about. But the man had some crazy lifts, right? His bench press was almost 3 times his body weight, right? So his bench press, his best lifts, so his PRs, right? 525 pounds on bench press. Like my best was 305. Now, granted, I've never taken any injections, so I'm satisfied with that. I'm like, I broke the 300 barrier, cool. Squat 655. I got close to 400 pounds a decade ago. Deadlift 750 pounds. Now I recently hit 405 on deadlifts last December. I did just did like my 1 rep max, and I felt really, really good. And I was like, you know what? I could probably go heavier. Like, I could probably have done at least another 50 pounds, but I didn't. But that's insane weight. The amount of that's times his body weight it's insane. Incredible peaks. And again, say, oh, well, what's that off when he's not, juiced up? I mean, still, even then though. 19-inch biceps, 50-inch chest, those are solid numbers. 25, 26-inch thighs, which I think my thighs right now are about 25 inches. I don't skip leg day, like some people on the internet do, but just shout out to the GOAT. Just want to give him some proper attention. Again, it's his, it would have been his birthday 85 years ago. You know what I'm saying? Man was born. So it's, lest us not forget the GOATs, but, only 80 kilos. So like right now I could be a lot leaner. Like I'm Dude, Corbo. So like back in June, when my birthday hit, I ate a lot and I drank more than I ever usually do. I kind of just let loose a bit. Um, and yeah, I was like I got like 195, 200 pounds. But I've been cutting, so like I'm back to 185 right now. But if you were Arnie's size at the time, you would have cut to live longer or stay swole, just taking the heart attack when it happens, pretty much. Yeah. Which I mean, yeah, Arnold had some issues, right? What do you have, like a double? Was it? I forget when he had like a double bypass surgery or something like that. But yeah, crazy. Shout out to the goat though. What up, Maverick? Best female soccer football movies. Bennett like Beckham with Keira Knightley. Yeah, dude. That's not a bad movie at all. I remember watching it in school. I think wrestlers are stronger than bodybuilders and have bigger necks. Well, I think it really depends on the person, honestly. There are some wrestlers who are strong, but they're not in like bodybuilding shape, right? So it's sort of like wrestlers to me are more like power lifters than bodybuilders. Because like obviously a powerlifters, there's a completely different sport than bodybuilding, but like powerlifters don't look aesthetically as good as bodybuilders. 5'8", 198-ish. I don't think it back instead of it's just too lazy. Understandable. I mean, uh, it's been said that even by Ronnie Coleman, again, which people obviously argue and say like he's the GOAT over Arnold. But there was I think when Ronnie Coleman was on Joe Rogan and Ronnie Coleman was saying how like Arnold's the GOAT. Like if it wasn't for Arnold, like he obviously helped pave the way for people like Ronnie. And obviously it wasn't just Arnold. I'm not discrediting anyone else. But and I think Ronnie was also being humble, which I think that's one of the things I love about Ronnie Coleman. But he said that Arnold had the perfect genetics. And obviously that obviously it helps if you have great genetics and then you lift weights and then if you take performance enhancing drugs, then you combine the two and then you end up looking like Arnold. Yeah, I know. Arnold's Austrian oak. Didn't get that name for nothing, but yeah, let's talk about some of the topics for today. Is Metric 5 really in the works, and what did you think of 4? Yep, it is officially in the works. Where are my bookmarks? Hold on one second. There's been a lot of like reports about movies recently, which is kind of interesting, but it is quite unfortunate that they're moving forward with this franchise because I don't know why. When I saw 4 from home, it was definitely one of those situations where I wondered what the plot was going to be. And the fact that they made like Neo forget, and then number one, we didn't have Lawrence Fishburne return, for different reasons. I think, I think he was, if I remember correctly, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think he was available. But Carrie Ann Moss was back, and then you got the girl who played Colleen Wing from the Iron Fist TV show. She was in it. We didn't get. I think Hugo Weaving wasn't available either. So but it was not good. It just wasn't good. It was like basically now Trinity has the capacity and the ability to be just like Neo. So yeah, kind of it was the worst out of the four. It was, Matrix 1 is the best. I mean, Matrix is an IP where you didn't need a single sequel. But the fact that The Matrix was such a good movie and it was I don't want to say like one of the greatest movies of all time, but it might be one of the greatest movies of all time. Like what The Matrix was able to do in cinematography, like using all the like the camera and the stop, motion, as they call it, bullet time. I mean, that that hadn't been done before. So like, I definitely think that The Matrix helped pioneer certain ways that movies and movie making evolved over time. Now, yes, things got really weird in Matrix 2 and Matrix 3 because it just basically declined after that. Um, and there are things I like about Matrix 2, which is more so like the sets, but the story, it's like didn't really need to happen per se. But and then obviously like the Wachowski brothers at the time, there was obviously rumors that they stole the idea from I can't think of the lady's name, black lady, but she obviously used a lot of comparisons to like the Bible and like Christianity, and obviously there's a lot of that, a lot of themes, even like obviously a lot of names that exist in the movie itself. So, but it was definitely, it still is one of my favorite movies to watch of all time. I've seen The Matrix first one. I no idea how many times I snuck into the theater at the time because I was not 18, and you know, just I think it was what, maybe 13, 14 at the time, and there's a few of us that snuck into it, and it was just one of those situations where like when you've seen a fair amount of movies up to like say like being like a young teenager, and then you see The Matrix for the first time in theaters, it's like things change. The bar is now set, and yes, the original Matrix was rated R. Yep. But it's one of those things where like it's all we could talk about for days and weeks, and like we just wanted to go see it again, but it was like we got to try and sneak in again because we none of us were 18 years old. But you know, hold on a second, I'm gonna try to a message. Um, Sorry, hold on a second, guys. Anyway, but yeah, one of the best decisions I've ever made was to sneak into that movie. But yeah, I don't know why we're getting a Matrix 5. Matrix 4 wasn't good. I don't even know what the Matrix 4 numbers were that, um, like the statistics that we got from. Let's see here. Oh, use our friend Wikipedia here. The Matrix Resurrections. So the budget was $190 million. $190 million for the fourth Matrix movie. Had a runtime of 148 minutes. A lot of people returned. And it had a box office of $160 million. So this movie underperformed. I don't even know what the ratings were. We can check the ratings, but it just was not. It was not good. Because also it was released. It was released on HBO. Like, so it was released in streaming because it was like, oh, 2021 COVID may still be a thing, and you know, um, but apparently, yeah, let's make it fifth movie, and apparently, let's see, Drew Goddard is attached to write and direct. So, quite interestingly enough, because of the fourth one, The Matrix Resurrections, was written by one of the Wachowskis, David Mitchell and Alexander Hemmon, and it was directed by one of the Wachowskis, Lana. Which I'm sorry, they just look weird. So Drew Goddard is attached to write and direct. Looking at what Drew Goddard has done. Drew Goddard has done and written, began his career writing episodes for television shows like Buffy the Vampire Slayer, Angel, Alias, Lost. Then he wrote Cloverfield, World War Z, The Martian, Project Hail Mary. So he created the Netflix series Daredevil. Did a couple episodes of The Good Place. It was an EP on Ted Cloverfield Lane, which is a very good movie. Now the Cloverfield Paradox, and not so much. But okay, so kind of seems like maybe he might be able to write a good movie. Oh, he also wrote and directed Cabin in the Woods. So, you know, hey, maybe this might have a decent. He didn't do all the Daredevil, by the way. He only did episodes 1 and 2 from season 1. But as the creator, though. So, maybe we'll be in a good spot. I don't know. Like, but I think the problem is that this is what happens with a lot of sequels is as a fifth installment, you look at what came before it. It's kind of like the whole Jurassic World argument. Yeah, first one probably didn't even happen, but if it did, and it was like, okay, here it is, but then you start doing with the Dominion and whatever the other one was, and now and then Afterbirth, which kind of funny thing about that one is that Gareth Edwards is not returning for the next installment in Jurassic World, which I have a link to that, but we'll see. I'm very, very I'm very, very precautious to see what the Matrix 5 will be called, what it might consist of. I don't think there's anything out there right now that is stating what it may be, like what kind of story it might be. Because it was like, what was the whole point of the Matrix 4 to exist aside from just trying to reboot a franchise, which didn't really need to be rebooted. It's got a 5.6 rating out of 10 on IMDb, and then even on Rotten Tomatoes, which I know we really don't care so much about, both the critics and the viewers are at 63%. I think, if I remember correctly, I want to say I gave The Matrix 4 a 4 out of 10. Yeah, it's not worth watching. It's crazy. Even before there were plot odds, the fact that if they didn't sign off on it, that Warner Bros. Would have gone ahead with them anyway. Not sure this is exculpatory in any way. Yeah, it's like, hey, either you make this movie yourself or we're going to make it and we're going to do something completely different. And honestly, I think if Warner Brothers might have done something different on their own, it could have been even worse than it was. What up, C-Brew? Getting ready for work? Hell yeah, dude. Enjoy your work day. Still liking X-Men 97? All right, we'll come back to this. Yo, what up, Draconis? How you doing, brother? Long time no see. There was one scene I preferred in 4 to the original trilogy that had inclusion of a song I really liked, White Rabbit by Jefferson Airplane, like the female cover of Rage Against the Machine. The outro, besides that, everything else is worse than 4. Yeah, I can get behind that. And I agree. The first Matrix was absolutely genius. It was crazy. Apparently they took ideas from Dark City. Yes, I do believe I remember that too. So I wish I stuck into Train Spotting too when I was 17. Yeah, there's something stinging about into movies. I haven't done like a double feature in a while, but they're fun. Do you have an idea on what got the R rating in the Matrix? I don't even think there was bad language or like a lot of swearing in it, but it could have been the torture scene when Morpheus is being tortured. Could have been. I don't know if they specified maybe why it was rated R. Sci-fi violence and brief language. Despite lacking explicit content, lacking explicit sexual content or frequent profanity in the dialogue itself, the film earned a R rating primarily due to intense action, stylized gun battles, and unsettling concepts. Unsettling concepts? Hey guys, so the idea that you're living in a simulation and that you have a choice, maybe that's what it is. Maybe it's the fact that, like, the realization that all of us in our reality, we have a choice to make. And it might be as simple as taking life from one hand or taking life from the other. It's like red pill or blue pilled, which I know gets used a lot in politics. And to some degree, that does play an effect on people's everyday lives because of what is usually associated with politics. But for the people that don't really care about politics, which pill would they still take, right? It's like blue pill keeps you locked in the matrix, and this conversation that Neo has with Morpheus and everything, like, never exists, right? It's never happened. You just stay in, you keep going on your regular routine. But the red pill frees your mind. You start asking questions. You start wondering what is real. And then you obviously see the reality that is, oh, there was life on Earth. And essentially, guess what? There was a war with robots. Who'd have thunk? That hasn't been done before. So it's not quite like Terminator, but it's also a little bit like Terminator, but multiplied by the computer realm in another reality existing, blotting out the sun, all that kind of stuff. And that was the problem with the sequels, is like what they gave us in the original Matrix was enough to expand our imagination and enough for us to like live off of, and then just kind of theorize on our own and then just go, yeah, man, like this is so cool. But when they started saying like, oh, well, there's a whole city called Zion, and there's a whole robot, everything, the robots created, the machines created this whole, world as well. And it's like, impossible to penetrate and to get to like the mainframe. And it's like, let's expand on like prior predecessors, right? Like Neo was like the 6th iteration of the one, which I didn't really like that. Over time, I think I was cool with it, but over time, I didn't like that because I think it made the importance of the first one and like seeking out Neo just like disingenuous. Happy to see you live in the UK. Oh, I didn't know you're in the UK, man. But dude, shout out that I appreciate that, man. It is one of those things where like I do enjoy streaming earlier. And it's something I've thought about doing more of. But because of my busy work schedule during the week, it's just like I only have time to do it at nights. But Fridays for me is so much simpler, and it's like a a day I can either like take half a day or a day off, right? It's just super simple for the most part. So, but shout out, brother. I appreciate that, man. Did I watch The Good Place? And none of it just you know which episodes and what season he did. I never watched The Good Place, but I can tell you. Let's see. He did episode 1, season 1, episode 3 of season 2, and then episodes 1 and 2 of season 4. I heard of the show. I just never watched it. I meant to watch it a couple different times, but I never did. Any plot leaks yet? Nothing yet. That's kind of what I was looking for this morning. I was like, do we have anything about, Matrix 5, you know, casting news? Like, I mean, but the only thing I'm seeing around is like, it is officially in active development from like Collider, Nerdist, um, Yahoo News is talking about it. So, I mean, I don't know if like we'll see something within like the next couple months. Just the fact that Drew Goddard is writing and directing, actively working on the script, and saying that he's taking his time to build a fresh concept. Like, but what does that mean though? A fresh concept. Does that mean like we're taking what was already done and like removing it? Like, is it possible that we could somehow retcon what's been done and move forward that seems fresh? I'd have to really think, like, I'd have to go back and watch it and think of what a fresh concept actually looks like. Because off the top of my head right now, being live with you guys, it's like either you would have to, without undermining what's already happened. It's kind of hard. Like, you don't want to say, oh well, like, because if I remember correctly, and I've only watched The Matrix 4 once, but I don't remember if Neo was saying in that movie, or sorry, in that in the movie, that there was someone else who could have been the one aside from like Trinity. So it's like, what is the fresh concept? Is the fresh concept that like they can actually like take the battle to the machines and like clear out the machines outside of the Matrix? Because the Matrix 4 was super meta. It was like, oh, we're gonna make everything that you knew from your life into like, and from the movies into this movie itself. And like it's a game. And yeah, like, they changed the way Neo's appearance looked as well, so he didn't recognize himself. Like, it was stupid. Nothing yet for cast and plot. Nothing about specific character arcs. Official casting announcements are still under wraps. And the only thing I've seen is that Keanu Reeves has expressed a willingness to return if invited, which there again, like, how could you have a movie like this that doesn't have him or Carrie-Anne Moss or Hugo Weaving? Like, could you bring back Lawrence Fishburne finally that he's available now, right? Like, again, I would like to see the trio return. If well, now that it is officially being made, at least give us the trio back. Give us Carrie-Anne Moss, Keanu Reeves, and Lawrence Fishburne. Let them be on screen together one last time. Like that was all that we asked for in Star Wars for a sequel, right? Just have Han, Luke, and Leia on screen again in the same frame, not in a screenshot or picture you're taking when you're reading some dumbass script. By the film's own admission, the Wachowskis that was on board only did it prevent someone else doing it, and the heart wasn't in it. Oh, that's 100%. And honestly, that's very like transparent from the movie and what you see. It almost seemed like this it was like written by AI, but I don't think the AI was like really that prevalent at that time. Third Eye claim, a long-running internet rumor claims that an author named Sophia Stewart wrote the original manuscript or book called The Third Eye in the 80s, and that Hollywood stole her work to create The Matrix and The Terminator. Yes. Yep, she's spoken about it. And apparently there was another rumor that like um they paid her like low key under the table for it. Cause I think she's uh, um just looking up something real quick. Uh, um yeah, people are debating and calling this whole thing like that whole thing a conspiracy, but um I remember watching an interview with Sophia Stewart, and she was saying that a lot of what her inspiration obviously came from the Bible, which again you can see it clear as day. Um, but let's see here. Is there a case context? Oh, it's no longer available. I'm gonna check out Westlaw. It's funny, people on Reddit calling her a liar. Let's see here. No, it's Reddit. What do you expect? Um, yeah, what up, Nerd Files? How you doing, brother? Appreciate it, man. Hope work is good for you and passes by. It's funny that because I think movies like Truman Show, The Matrix are worthy of getting 18 and up ratings or minimum mandatory warnings about psychosis, delusions, and paranoia more so than violence. But I think I'm a minority on that opinion. Um, yeah, I I remember it being radar. So like I said, we couldn't get in, and because we were all like I said, I remember I was at least 13 to 14, so like they wouldn't let us in. And I think my oldest friend at the time was 16 that we were with, so um, you couldn't be 17 or 18 and up at that point. But the idea of what the Matrix is presenting, like, and giving the idea of you having this thought of capability to comprehend what you deal with on a day-to-day basis, right? Like that you have a choice, that you have free will to do whatever you want. Now there are consequences, but also like just understanding the world. Like, are you just going to live in a simulation of just living life on repeat, or are you going to try to actually live your life and enjoy it and do the things that you want to do, um, and not feel sorry for it, right? Um, but yeah, I can understand what you mean, Corbo, where it's like the idea of what exists on the outside. Like I know people always joke around and we say, oh, like you've got Wally and you've got Demolition Man and Idiocracy as like the three sacred prophecy movies. We people joke around online, right? Dare I say, The Matrix should be one of those movies. especially now with the whole red pill, blue pill thing and being in a simulation. I mean, you could argue that Truman Show could be similar to that as well. Because people get so locked in to everything that they believe and they see in the internet is real, but also because of the fact that AI is getting so advanced that people get fooled as to what is a real video. Did this person that I'm looking at in this screenshot, is that them at this location, right? Is it this person or these celebrities, these people committing whatever's happening in this video, because AI can create the likeness so well now, and you really have to verify it or really know what you're looking at to see that it's fake, but people fall for it all the time. So it's like you are living in this blue pilled simulation, and then you've got people, you've got, sites, or you've got, industries, companies that are saying, oh, this is real, but it's like, no, it's not. This is fake, right? So you could say, like, look, you might question things after you watch this movie, but you might not if you're kind of just unaware and you have, a decent IQ. But dilute the value of the one by having him be just another iteration of the previous failures. Exactly, dude. Like, I didn't like that. Like when Neo meets the architect in the second Matrix, and he starts using all the ergo vis-a-vis. It's like, which I do like the, oh God, what was it? It was the MTV Movie Awards skit that had Will Ferrell as the architect. God, who was playing Neo? I forgot who was playing Neo. But they did like a whole spoof on it. That was actually pretty funny. But yeah, it was like, oh, you're currently the sixth iteration, and it was just like, what? I mean, it's restarted 6 different times, so there's been multiple Trinities and multiple Neos, and all the ones that came before that, even if their name was Neo, wasn't that one? Did I watch Dark Matter? I have not. I think I added it to my list, and I've not gotten around to watching it. I am behind on a couple shows on Apple TV Plus as well. I need to catch up on. I haven't watched any of Silo season 3 yet. I'm waiting for that to be done so I can just binge it, because I feel like that might be a slow season. It's impressive. Love The Good Place. The pilot was elite. Highly recommend watching season 1 at minimum. Yeah, I can check out season 1 for sure. Did I like NPH? Yes, I think NPH did a fine job in the movie. I don't think his character was that poorly developed. The line about trusting feelings was good. Yeah. Interesting. Would you say the game arc was kind of interesting? I liked the meta stuff, but it seemed too self-indulgent and no Hugo Weaving and tail end to drag so hard. Yeah, and it was super rough. Not having Hugo Weaving in it was just, it didn't hit the same. Like, Hugo Weaving has an aura with his acting, and you could tell that was missing from the Matrix. Now, granted, Matrix 2 had some amazing fight scenes. And again, like the highway scene, that was all a real set. Obviously, parts of that were, CGI and stuff like that, but some great fights, man. That's one thing that the Matrix did so well. Was the anime version of the Matrix any good? Yes, I actually really enjoyed the Animatrix, and the soundtrack for the Animatrix was actually really good too. I have that still on DVD. Lawrence Fishburne does need to lose weight. Yeah, he does. I mean, I don't think his weight had anything to do with Predators. Arguably, I think it's one of the better Predator movies compared to some of the other ones. That's for sure. 30 years later, Neo will have to change his name to Veho. Yeah, right. Hugo Weaving's niece Samara is a good pick for Emma Frost. Let's just hope to keep the characters promiscuous and sexy as possible. 100%. Yep. We will be talking about that in a little bit. Is James Gunn gone after Superwoman flopped? Spider-Boy 3 billion. I don't know if it's made 3 billion yet. I think it's going to make 2 billion for sure though by the end of its run. I don't think Gunn's gone yet. I still think there's a high chance that he may or may not get the boot after the merger is officially completed by Paramount. He hasn't done anything good. Name one thing that James Gunn has done good as the head of DC. I'll wait. What up, 40 Viking? How you doing, brother? Drive by liking. Left my headphones at home, so I can't watch now. I wish I could put subtitles on. Because YouTube subtitles suck. StreamYards, add subtitling. Come on, you could do that. Case context, no way. Are you looking up Westlaw or Nexus Lexus in case law? I'd imagine she would have settled out in court. One of the links I said that kind of got are finally pointed to that, but first off, Matrix of back of studying philosophy and taking acid, so it was quite open to the idea that all human existence really was illusionary, or a Plato's cave, like shadow of what real is. I was going to mention the Will Ferrell parody. I just think that's right, it's Timberlake. Yeah. I wonder if I could pull that up real quick and we could watch that. Hold on, I haven't seen that in ages, but it just popped in my head. Matrix 2 Will Ferrell. I don't think I'll get dinged for this. Oh my God, it's in 440p. That is terrible. All right, y'all. Sorry for the quality. It ain't me. This is just how it was. What was it, like 2000 and like mid 2000s?
Yeah. Ladies, in a few seconds we'll be sipping on some Chris and watching the 2003 MTV Movie Awards.
2003. Holy crap.
Quit playing around, Sean.
I'm not, dude. My key won't fit.
You must be the ones.
So he's the key maker for anyone that is unfamiliar. The actual key maker from the series. Yeah, what up? Good one. How you doing, brother? 2015 Dark Matter is better than anything we've had in the last few years as far as sci-fi series goes. I need to watch it. Like I said, it's been added to my Apple list of watching. I have not got it yet. Have I looked up case law before? Yes, as a matter of fact, my fiance is a lawyer, so I am very familiar with a good amount of law, but not everything, obviously. But I am curious. I might have to look into this. Yeah, what up, Brent? How you doing, brother? Yeah, we're doing the Nick at Noon Central. I don't know what I'm gonna call this Friday streams. Plotcast, Nick at Noon, something like that. Who knows? And I agree. Animatrix is the best Matrix movie. Yeah, Matrix 1, and then if you just had the Matrix and then the Animatrix, the entire universe or the IP would be still so solid to this day. I know that you mentioned a good point of action. I think fights in 4 were very lacking. Dude, the fights in 4 were terrible. Terrible. They looked bad. The choreography was dog water. Ugh. Superman 2025 was still not good. IMO. Personally. Can you Shield Suitor like Hugo Weaving did in Lord of the Rings? Oh, can I shout? Oh, maybe. Let me put my mic back for a bit. He's like, cast it into the fire. No, Isildur. There you go. Hope that wasn't ear shattering for you guys. Dude, yeah. That old encoding for the win. 40 pieces less than half of the pixels I was hoping for. Where was Contra when the Westfold fell? Oh. Wait, is that not the same one? I'll have to look it up. I mean, I haven't seen it out of the way. Okay, let's keep watching.
Oh, cool. It's a super.
Actually, I'm the keymaker.
Don't worry. You'll be inside in just a moment.
Awesome, thanks.
What's happening, hot stuffs?
Damn. He just played them. That was his plan all along. Keymaker into a menage a trois. I should probably mute this, but this is the scene from Matrix 2 when they're in Zion and they're having this like huge dance party celebration, right? Like, it's kind of funny though, the fact that they're just inserted in this.
Zion, baby!
What is?
Oh my god, dude! Is that Andy Dick?
Duh.
I totally forgot he was in this. Holy crap! Perfect. Thank you, sir. I appreciate that. Yeah, we got football starting again soon. Hell yeah. Legendary Riz. You two must be the gatekeepers. I'm something of a keymaster myself. I'll unlock something for you. Because what the Matrix really needs is a rave in the mud. I know, right? Well, because the funny thing is, for people who have not seen this movie, while this whole dance is going on, Neo and Trinity are off alone, knocking boots, doing the dirty deed. Which I'm like, yeah, I'd rather be doing that than dancing in a freaking cave.
It's obviously an underground city where the last remaining humans live and the robots are coming to kill us. Doesn't that just make you want to party?
Dude, let's get out of here.
I don't know, man. These girls are pretty hot. Check it out. You can totally see their nipples.
Dude, I so totally forgot he was in this.
Oh my god, there's Morpheus! Woo! I love you, Morpheus!
Zion, hear me!
He's having a huge orgy at his place later tonight. At least that's what many of us have heard.
Dude, man, this whole thing is hilarious. Those who know how Andy Dick has been doing as of late. Yeah, isn't he like doing it in like rough shape or something like that? Like the opening scene of Blade in the Blood nightclub? Yeah. Bro Show is an Apple TV comedy with Woody and McConaughey playing brothers. I like them, but oh yeah. I have seen of that, but I noticed it on the like list of shows when I was watching Ted Lasso this morning. I mean, old school MTV used to be a lot better. Now it's turned into just something like it's just all slop. The best thing Andy Dick has done in the last decade is a cameo vid where he did for Dark Side Phil, where he called him Dark Seed to Phil. Hilarious. Good old Andy Dick.
It is true, what many of you have heard.
Morpheus! What can we expect at this orgy?
Machines!
Oh, man.
Man, I'm out.
Sounds kind of kinky.
Ow. Okay, I'll see you guys there! And bring plenty of lube!
What would you do if you walked into a party and you saw Andy Dick and he came up and talked to you? What would you do? Would you just leave immediately? I'd be like, I'm out. I vividly remember seeing this in theater and regretting my life decisions when the scene came up. Dude, I know. It was the perfect cut the way they did that. What can we expect? Machines. Bro, I'm out. Nothing good comes to this. Exit stage left, 100%.
What?
Nothing.
Great. An infinite hallway of doors.
One of these has to lead back to your apartment.
You know what? You try that one. I need to use this one.
There's a sign that says men on it. Is that something that was the old Wachowski's door? Yeah, the creaking latex is hilarious. The best movie house party was in Weird Science or House Party Kid in Play. Yep, good old Stifler, John William Scott. I think they didn't just keep the squeaks of latex, they added in more in post. Probably, like I'm sure there was some, but the fact that just did it in post is even better.
I see Trinity, and something happens, something bad, and she starts to fall. And then I wake up.
So they replaced, oh God, I'm blanking on her name, but she's supposed to be the Oracle. And then we get a cool fight scene with all of the, what's his face? What's up, Vex? Yes, Wanda Sykes. I could not think of her name. That was a pretty good fill-in for for the Oracle.
That's fucked up.
I'm so sorry to interrupt you guys, but I'm really lost.
Wait a minute. You're that boy from NSYNC. What happened to your Jerry curl, man? That was a good look. Yeah, that was hot. You know them boys, right?
I've never heard of them.
You never heard of NSYNC?
No.
Those boys can dance. Come on, man, show them your moves.
Do I have to?
I'm the Oracle, damn it.
If I had to guess, I'd say you're a program from the machine world.
Oh, man, I'm just doing the robot. Here, you should try it.
Yeah, work it. Come on, Neo, get in there, man. Do the robot.
Why?
Come on, man, you the one. You the one. You can do it all.
No.
Come on, man. No more arigato, Mr. Roboto.
You can do the robot with JT.
What if I can't? What happens if I fail?
Okay, dude, lighten up for real. It's just the robot.
No. I can't do that. I won't.
What?
Vex, you've never seen this before? This was released at the MTV parody of the Movie Awards in 2003. Oh, this is so good. First actress. Yeah, they replaced her in the second movie. Seeing Keanu makes me remember hella people wanted to play Ghost Rider. Oh, dude, everyone wanted to. People still wanted him to before Ryan Gosling got officially announced. I agree. At one time, she was hilarious, but not anymore. Would edit this into a copy of the films and show it to my nephew like this is the first viewing. Yeah, yeah. I think the first actress. I think she passed away. Yeah. I think they made a like a reference like, oh, you look different or something like that when they changed the actress as well. Mary Alice.
Hell, I will. Talk to me, boy. Don't be scared.
Oh, God.
Ooh. Come on, do the part. Do the naked part.
Mr. Timberlake.
Mr. William Scott.
Hey, you that guy that got peed on an American. Ooh, you in the spot. How big is your fist? Good Lord. Hey, wait a minute, man. This shit is dry clean only.
You'll like being a dude.
Someone should tell that to the Wachowskis.
I do.
That is a shitload of stiflers.
Might have to mute it here. Freaking DMCA strike or something like that. So yeah, there's a fight scene that happens, similar to the movie, right?
Sean's focus. Let's get Mr. Timberlake.
Oh, that hasn't even happened yet? Okay, so they fight.
Ow! Justin, you really hit me. That is so not cool. Oh.
Okay, so this is the reference to the architect in the second movie. He should defeat Agent Stifler with a dick in a box, dude. That'd have been so much better if they made that after the fact. The Oracle is like Doctor Who. She can't die. Yeah, because she just gets reiterated again. Because I was at the end of the third movie, you see both the Oracle and the Architect on a bench, like talking, like, "Oh yeah, there's a truce for now." It's like 2 programs at war and with in a truce. Okay. This might be the best part of this whole spoof, though.
Hello. I've been waiting for you 3.
Who are you?
Yeah, who are you?
I am the architect.
I have to say, Will Ferrell does a good job at this part, because it's meant to be like a more serious moment for Neo here. Upon this realization that again, you thought you're the first one. Just kidding. That's true. I was stuck in the hallucination.
But please, call me Larry.
Hey, Larry.
Larry.
I created The Matrix and several popular video games, including Cubert and Dig Dug.
Remember that?
Yeah.
I didn't create Frogger, but I came up with the name for it. Can you believe they wanted to call it Highway Crossing Frog?
That is so lame.
I know. It's the lamest thing I've ever heard of. Highway Crossing Frog.
Why am I here?
Yeah, why are we here?
Is there an echo in here? Is there an echo in here? The MTV movie.
He did a good job not bursting out laughing shooting this. Yeah, I'm like, I wonder how many, if they had to do any retakes for this, or they just nailed it. It'd probably be so hard to not laugh at this.
Wards are a systemic anomaly inherent to the programming of the Matrix. Although the transport process has altered your consciousness, you irrevocably remain human. Ergo, concordantly, vis-a-vis. You know what? I have no idea what the hell I'm saying. I just thought it would make me sound cool.
You haven't answered my question.
I'm feeling a little vulnerable right now, so you just need to chill out. Can you do that? I'd appreciate that.
Using all this like vast vocabulary just to sound intelligent, which they do in the actual movie that's not a movie. highway crossing frog sounds like a yoga pose. It does.
Thank you. Now, originally Neo was the chosen one to host the show, but hosting is a full-time commitment, and he's been a little distracted lately.
Trinity.
See what I'm talking about? That's why I brought in Sean and Justin, because you, my friend, are completely pussy-whipped.
Bullshit.
Watch the sass, Captain Sassy Pants.
Yeah, you're kind of spazzing out, dude.
You haven't answered my question.
Captain Sassy Pants. Yeah, ergo, concordantly, vis-a-vis. You know what? I'm done trying to sound cool. I have no idea what I'm talking about. Then Folds immediately admitting that's what he's doing. It's golden. Yeah.
Yes, I did. You see, what
You haven't answered my...
I'm trying. You just need to let me talk.
Why am I here?
Would you shut up?
You won't let it...
No, you won't let it! I'm the one who talks! Okay, mouth shut, ears open!
Here's the
You
word,
haven't
though.
answered...
You do not want to see me get out of this chair! Ergo, open your yapper one more time, and I'm gonna architect a world of pain all over your candy ass! Ergo! Vis-a-vis!
This is about...
Concordantly! Justin,
Yeah,
I apologize. I don't usually like to use my big voice.
that's all right, dog. Just tell us how we get to the movie awards.
There are two doors. The door on your left leads Sissy Boy here back to his bitch.
Ooh. Obviously, Will Ferrell's architect is inspired by the African Studies professor from NASA. I would agree. I agree. So funny to see Ergo outside of Descartes quote. Pretty sure a real architect used that in the film. He did, yeah. He used vis-a-vis, concordantly. He used all that, or all that was written, I should say. But that's what they were kind of making fun of.
Uh-huh. What up, G? You can't handle it. The door on your right leads you to the 2003 MTV Movie Awards. And the mini door is for Muffin to go out and piddle. What? Yes. Hey. No. You are bizarre.
Thanks, Lair.
Don't mention it. Oh, and hey, go host the shit out of that show.
Boom.
If I were you,
Bite your tongue. Bite it.
I would hope that we don't meet again.
Why'd you say that? I told you to shut up. I told you to shut up!
And that was basically it. So, funny spoof. I use those words regularly, just not all jammed together, right? Did he show up to host the awards in the latex? I don't remember, honestly. I think they did, but changed. I could be wrong. But hey, you know what? That was back when MTV was decent. And we should still avoid making a fifth movie. But I don't know, like I said, who knows how well it could actually turn out. If it's good, I'll be shocked, but I don't think it will. But I mean, if there's any good one, I don't know if you've heard yet, but Drew Goddard is writing and directing this fifth movie for The Matrix. We'll see. I mean, I think it's better than the Wachowskis writing it at this point. I don't think they have anything left in the tank. What else would they steal from at that point? In fact, it will be shit. Yeah. That skit is infinitely better than the fourth film. It's better than the third film, and it might even be better than the second film, aside from like maybe some of the action scenes in it, ironically. But here we are. I bookmarked some stuff about X-Men that Mad Doggy said, you said earlier I was liking X-Men 97, just feel the season hasn't been good as season 1. Well, that could be due to the fact that we no longer have Mr. Bo DeMayo involved anymore, which, he had said, he said a couple things on Gooch's Diabolical Souls channel when he had him on there. I think maybe once or twice, talking about life working at Marvel, Disney, and then, working under Kevin Feige, what those meetings consisted of. He went on like a lot of tweets or posts, I should say. 'Cause I think if I remember correctly, he deleted or suspended his own X account now. Like I don't think it's active. Deactivated it. Let me check. He hasn't posted anything since January 15th, apparently, but I don't know. It's all X stuff. He hasn't posted anything relevant in a while, which I think he just stepped away from it. I don't even know who manages his account anymore. But a lot of what he said was, I think, due to the fact that I think they rewrote half of what was happening in season 2, but he warned us about what was going to happen in season 2 as well. What up, Blue? Didn't know I went on an hour ago. I mean, that's YouTube, YouTube's wonderful notification system that they have here. How severe do creative differences have to be to prompt leaving? I mean, I feel like having been in a similar situation, they have to be less than half of what you want. And I'll just kind of talk to my last, the band I was in. And when we were getting a lot of recognition and like playing with bigger bands and playing festivals and playing on Warped Tour and talking with, like the, bigger producers, people in charge of like Atlantic Records, like, potentially signing a deal. The band that I was in when we were recording a full length album, things change in the studio. So it's like we were having musical creative differences. And, I was arguing that there are things that, we should be doing musically. And Nuts, it's like, well, Nick didn't get his way, so he left. But I literally said, like, the changes that we're doing aren't necessary, and the things that we're adding isn't popular either. And as a result, we're not going to get the playtime we need. We might not even get the record deal we're hoping for, because of these changes. We're not following the trend that we have placed ourselves in. We're not at the at the liberty of changing our sound now when we haven't even fully hit our peak yet. And so I left, right? And I said, you guys won't make it without me. And guess what? They didn't. But nothing against them. It was just like, hey, I didn't like where we're going. So I mean, it kind of makes sense about saying like, hey, what happens when you leave a film or whatever? Like, what's going to happen? What sort of, creative stirring will develop this next movie or show, right? Like things could be drastically changed and for the worse sometimes. Right? Like you'll have a different product at that point. Who could have anticipated season 2 would be noticeably worse than season 1? Everyone who knew they were tossing out DeMeo's writing. There are certain things about season 2 that I've enjoyed, and I could definitely tell, like, and it definitely feels like there are things that I think Bo had in there, and then they have changed things as well, where I'm just like, okay, so the stuff about having team in the past and the future, and then Apocalypse trying to change where he came from, vaporizes Magneto. We've got the introduction of X Factor, X Force. The X-Men are back on Genosha. There are things that have come from the comic books as well, and Gambit being a Four Horsemen. Okay, there are things that they've still included, and I mean, granted, I will say this, right? There's one thing I will definitely give them credit for, because I mean, number one, we don't get things like this anymore. I'll share my screen here because, I mean, Rogue, they did Rogue dirty, right? But man, did they get Psylocke right though? Holy. I'm still surprised they let Psylocke have cheeks out. World is slowly healing. I mean, y'all, we might be back. We might be back. Oh, we got a $2 from Jana. Hi, Jana Banana. What's black and brown and red all over? Black and brown and red all over. I don't know. Tell me. But listen, I got no complaints. I saw this image before I watched the episode, and I was like, wait, is this real? Then I watched the episode, and it's not a long scene, but this is a scene, and I was like, yo, they did Betsy right. Now, it's funny because they'll give Betsy some cheeks, but they'll rob Rogue of what we got in the beauty from the original X-Men series. So, I'm just like, hey. We have cheeks on screen. Shame about the ass writing. Well said. You were super behind. Behind. I see what you did there. Because cheeks, right? No. He may have gone silent, which I think could be plausible. Absolutely. So I tried today for a new game called Beast of Reincarnation. Yeah, we were talking about this. I think it's got some issues though. From what I heard. Warped Tour was 2010 for me. Ages ago, it seems like. It's like a relationship. If your needs don't match up with what they can provide and vice versa, then you need to leave. 100%, dude. And that's exactly where I was. So, and being in a band sometimes is like being in a dysfunctional family. You're being in a pop. Wait. I was going to actually bring up the Spider-Man brand new day pitch meeting that you posted in the chat, Blue, actually. So might end with that one as a funny exit. It's a bad idea to change musical style before you've hit a critical mass, and even doing it right after it hit album or EP is very risky. Yeah, like what we were doing. So we sent out like our EPs to like all of the, like 300 colleges across the US, and we were getting data back at from them in terms of like where like how much playtime the radio stations were playing them. And so like I was doing some data and compiling it and seeing like what cities had, moderate to heavy playtime, because those were the cities where like, okay, we need to travel here. We need to go on tour and book shows there. And so we did. And, again, like getting some recognition and then, building upon it, playing different festivals was great. But the fact that like people were so used to hearing a certain sound, and then like changing it, because like I wanted to have just to not to go on a side tangent here, but I wanted to have more some more heavier parts and some more screaming, right? Like I as a drummer, I was doing both backup vocals and I was screaming, because I could multitask well, I guess, being a drummer already. And it wasn't easy. It was definitely hard, but that was I worked very hard at it. I put a lot of hours in it, practice all the time, and when they're like, we want to have less, to the guys, like, we want to have like less screaming and less heavy parts. I'm like, dude, people love that. That's one of the things they love about it, about what we do. But like, let's evolve. We want to try like musical differences out. And I'm like, that's not quite what we need to be doing. Just, so anyway, I don't know if you know who Koi Jando is. He's a member of the Real Rejects, kind of a shill, but I like him, and he made a video about how to introduce the X-Men into the MCU. It's pretty good. Well, theoretically, we already got introduced, but I think the idea is that they could really just run with it once the, the Secret Wars happens. It's easy. I mean, I think it's also easy to screw up though too. He thinks the first movie shouldn't have Wolverine. They should do a Disney Plus show. I think they should. I'm going to disagree with this take. I don't think they should do any Disney Plus shows. I think everything needs to be streamlined into movie format in the theaters, because that is where you're going to get the most views, and you're going to get people wanting to see it on the big picture. And you start, listen, it's very simple based, and we're going to talk about the castings already, because I do think they're going young, so they're going to rebuild, I think, from the start of the X-Men. But I agree. I think they need to focus on other roles before they introduce Wolverine again. It started me not live. That's weird. Black, brown, and red all over is your superhero name? Pitch meeting noticing all the basic issues of the movie stands in stark contrast to alleged comic fans that keep trying to reinterpret what they saw so they can justify liking a crap movie. Yep. Also, the show feels not as complete without Magneto. I'm sure he'll come back. Same with Gambit. Well, I think what's going to happen in this season is that they're going to say, hey, guess what? Here's Onslaught. Because I think that's what Bo DeMayo was hinting at by the end of season 1. And I think they avoided going that route. A Nightcrawler put Bill to ask this episode. Yeah, when Gambit takes over, like all the like of his brothers and the sisters or whatever, Nightcrawler got taken over as well. Nightcrawler was literally like 1v everyone right there. Nightcrawler literally took on the entire X-Men team and just was like beating them up. It was crazy. Drummers are the best, man. Drummers know how to hit it. But as a bass, keyboard, and brass player, working out creative differences in a band can be so frustratingly annoying. Yeah, ironically, and it makes it difficult when you have sometimes an even number of people, like members of the band. So if like 4 members of the band and you like try to be democratic and vote on things, guess what? If it's a split down the middle, like when it came to like the musical differences, me and the bassist, so it's like the rhythm section is literally on par and on agreements with each other, and then the guitarist and then the vocalist were like on the other side, and like yeah, it was just we were just getting nowhere, and we were wasting money and like delaying, and like my at one point, like my heart was just not in it. And I was like, man, I love playing drums. Drums is everything to me. You know, I'm aspiring to be a rock star here. And we're literally on the cusp of achieving something that we've been working years on. And this is the one thing that's getting in the way. And I made a decision, you know. But other people understood. I spoke with some other like people I met in music, so you love Corey's idea of a Wolverine show where each season is a decade by and season by season. I mean, the problem is that you I don't know. Like I'm a very big Wolverine fan, right? Hold on. I have Wolverine tattooed on my leg. I'm trying to lift up my leg, y'all. Hold on. I also did legs 2 days ago, and my legs are sore as shit right now. Hold on. Oh, my God. Actually, you know what? Maybe I could just stand on my chair. Hold on. Maybe that'll work. Hold on. Oh, God. My hamstrings are so sore right now. Oh. Listen, I love Wolverine, though. Wolverine's my dog. I don't know if that's the best way, though. Because, like, again, Wolverine doesn't need an introduction. People should already know who Wolverine is. So people are making this statement like, oh, you know, Doom doesn't need an introduction. It's fucking Doctor Doom. He's the greatest villain of Marvel. I mean, nothing against Doctor Doom, but in that case, I don't think Wolverine needs any introduction either. How many Wolverine movies have we have? How do you not know anything about Wolverine by this point in time? Yeah, feels like so hard to fill the roles after getting rid of Hugh Jackman because he's iconically Wolverine now. X-Men is cooked. But I mean, I agree with Goodwin. Like, you don't start with X-Men, you do individual movies for characters and then have them meet up at some point. Yeah. Exactly. You know, it's funny, Goodwin, is that my guitarist, I wouldn't say he's notorious, but he would definitely get off time from time to time. And I'm just like, dude, just follow me. He thinks the X-Men movie should be like Cyclops and Jean movie. I mean, look, I would love to see an iconic Rogue movie where she actually takes the powers away from Ms. Marvel. That would be great. But I don't think we're going to get separate movies like that. Based on who we've already gotten confirmed from like casting, I don't think that's going to happen. But yeah, then we get rid of Brie Larson. And I agree. That's how you retire her. I'm a fan of the rest of the team making their way to the school as through these movies. The interesting thing though is like, again, if we're talking about how the ending of Spider-Man Brand New Day is, like, that's obviously clear. I'm like, she's going to upstate New York, right? And I was expecting the post credit trailer to be her getting out of the cab and seeing the sign, and that be it. But they kept it pretty ambiguous, and I based on the scenery, it just made sense to me. But the fact that you've got Rogue, Beast, Emma Frost, Jean Grey, Cyclops now was casted. Possibility of Mystique with with Indy Navarrete. And then there's also there's someone else that I think I bookmarked somewhere. Hang on, I had to take Salak's cheeks off for a second. Here we go. Hang on. 89% of white X-Men cast, and the only Asian guy is going to get covered in blue fur. Racist Disney is back. So the guy who's playing Beast is like, I guess, part Asian or something like that. I don't know. But yeah, so you've got Emma Frost, Beast, Rogue, Jean, and Cyclops so far. And I'm pretty sure I saw somewhere that they just casted someone else. I don't know if this is official yet, but I heard that Julia Butters has officially been cast as Shadowcat in the upcoming X-Men film. But I don't think it's true, only because I checked Deadline that was linked to this, and I did not see anything there. So, but I was like, why Shadowcat? Shadowcat, I don't know. I don't think that would be a good character to introduce starting out. I think they should introduce Angel. They should introduce like a Warren Worthington as Angel. Was that officially announced? I know they were saying it was between Skarsgård and oh God, what was the I think I posted this in one of our chats, Goodwin. But the guy who plays Ward Meacham in Iron Fist, Tom Pelfrey. Trying to see if this is right. Not that it'd be bad, but why is Clavicle playing Beast? Terrible. Well, at least we know Kata will enjoy it at that point, right? The rest of us won't, but Kata will. This will be the introduction to Wolverine for a new generation, though. Yeah. I said this in my Discord where, like, someone said Jack something or other was potentially being... I had to go back and check. But someone's, I don't know who it was, Jack so-and-so, was going to play... God, I'm trying to quickly skim through it. He might play Wolverine, and I was saying how let's see. So Nadia is saying that Jack O'Connell for Wolverine. Again, just a rumor. But that's not true. There's nothing official about it. Now he is 5'8", so he is shorter. Jack O'Connell, you might have remembered him from Sinners. If you watched Sinners, he was the Irish vampire. So not sure how the red beard's going to work. They'd probably have to dye it at that point. So I'm like, automatically, that's a no for me, dog. Also, if he were to start now, he would be older than when Hugh Jackman first started playing Wolverine in X-Men 2000. So why would you want to hire someone that is arguably older to play a role than the first person who initially started playing that role and has played that role for the last 26 years? So, but Wolverine is going to be an interesting casting call, though, and a very interesting choice. But that is one that I do not think they need to rush into. They need to take their time with Wolverine, because heaven help whoever that is, because they've got massive, massive shoes to step into. And I'd say arguably the same for whoever gets casted in as Professor X or Magneto, right? Like, not just the fact that you had Sir Patrick Stewart and Sir Ian McKellen, but the fact that you had Michael Fassbender and then James McAvoy also play them as younger versions, who did a great job, I think, for the times that they were able to play it. Granted, some of the scripts that they were in were crap, but they still did a great job in those roles. How would they announce Jamie Lawson as Storm next week at D23? Yeah, I think she was probably one of the better ones that I think would definitely make good for it. Now, here's the thing. If I remember correctly, they were saying that Storm was going to be introduced in Black Panther 3. For some reason, it's kind of like the same thing. Like, is it because she's black? Is that it? I mean, obviously, Ororo comes from Africa, but like, I'm pretty sure if my Marvel lore is correct, she did not come from Wakanda. So, is it just because of the continent? Like, why can't she just be introduced in America? I don't know. I think Black Panther 3 is going to be a hot mess. I hope they keep the Magneto Holocaust story and just say that Magneto ages slowly so he can fit into modern times. I mean, it's going to be interesting. I think doing something different than that will feel weird. But who knows what Marvel's going to do, right? Cast white actors to play white characters. But I'm telling you, we got Psylocke that has cheeks again, and we got white actors playing the roles again. No, and a redhead. We didn't get a black Jean Grey. We actually got a legitimate redhead. Like, holy crap. What is the world coming to? Are we healing? Are we? There was an entirely separate post that I saw about the world healing. This is more so a side topic, but somewhat, relevant news. Gears of War E-Day makes a distinction between male and female. I'm starting to feel the Gears hype. We might be back, bro. Common female infantry gear. Common male infantry gear. Same. We might be back. We might be back, y'all. But I agree. I think that there's a few roles that I'm curious and a little cautious about. It's Professor X, Magneto, and Wolverine. That's one other cheesy bastardization incoming. These characters are all from 3 different eras of X-Men teams. I mean, if you think about it, though, like, hold on, let me see something real quick. Let me see something. Hold on. I don't think it's mentioned in the comics. As far as the age difference goes between Scott Summers and Emma Frost. But technically, all the X-Men, when they first joined Professor X with the original 5, Jean, Scott, Beast, Angel, and Bobby Drake, they were all about the same age. Like Jean Grey was about 16, 17 years old when she first joined the X-Men. And I think because of the years that are going to pass between Doomsday and Secret Wars, by the time the first X-Men actually comes out, she'll be considered like 19, 20, early 20s essentially, which is also when Scott first joined the X-Men. And I think because Samara Weaving looks young, and is very beautiful, she won't have a problem with it. Now listen to me. If I'm Scott Summers and I'm like, do I gotta choose between Jean and Emma? I gotta go with Emma. I'm sorry. So, man, tough call. I hate to be in Scott Summers' shoes right now. I hope Taron Egerton gets Professor X. I don't know, man. I know Taron Egerton there was not rumors, but there was suggestions a couple years ago about Taron playing Wolverine. I don't see that either. Fun fact, the reason a lot of comic book characters are redheads is because in the early days of color printing, red was the easier color and brown and blonde, and they didn't want everyone with black hair. Huh, interesting. I hope the movie Bob returns as Diabeto. Jack O'Connell will be a sick Magneto? Maybe. I could see him over as Magneto overplaying Wolverine. Kevin Hart is a perfect hire for Wolverine. Yeah, I said we would have that continuous humor that we don't want anymore in the MCU. I don't remember if she was in Cairo in the cartoon, like when she goes back and she faces the Shadow King. If they update Magneto, they should go with his origin being from the Balkans. You still have genocide as an origin option. That is true. Very true. Yeah, what up, Dempsey? Coming on X. What up, man? X representation, hell yeah. How you doing, brother? Editor's note, we were not, in fact, back. Yeah. I think that it is folly to assume that these stories will be from comics. None of the other Marvel movies have been about the comics. I don't think they will be, right? Like, I mean, you can kind of think that but there's a possibility that there's something that is of similar, like, timing, but I don't think, like, we're going to get, like, how the X-Men originated, right? Because I don't know if that's too close to X-Men First Class. Maybe, like, it's already, like, just pre-established, but they're still sort of new, that they're still learning about how to be a team, how to function, how to get along with one another, like how they work in the world that has come from Secret Wars, right? So which I don't even know how much of an effect Secret Wars is going to have on the X-Men in their following movies. But yo, I love it. How you doing, Dolly? Emma all the way. I think that they had a kid together in comic. Yeah. Emma and Scott were a thing for a little while. What is up, Drunken Poet? What's up, gay boys?
Gay!
Emma over Jean. Nick hates Ginger's confirmed. No, I listen. Jean from the comics and in the show, was always my number one. I'm just saying, if I gotta choose between Sadie Sink and Samara Weaving, no contest. No contest. Yeah. I'm going to assume that they'll work up to another Dark Phoenix story. God, like, please don't do another Dark Phoenix story. Like, there's so much more that you can actually do, right? And I mean, it'd be one thing if like they actually were going to introduce like the Shi'ar Empire, so you would get like Gladiator, but I don't think we're gonna get all that because that's going deep into like, you know, X-Men lore at that point. And at that point, we'll also compare it to the comics and the X-Men cartoon, which I don't think they're gonna outdo either one of those. Oh, what up, AJ? How you doing, brother? Happy Friday. Love it. But yeah, I mean, we'll see. We shall see. I just wonder how many or how much casting they're going to do. You know, if they do end up casting Mystique, Professor X, Magneto, like, what are they going to do about Nightcrawler, Gambit? Are they going to hold off on those characters? They're going to hold off on Wolverine, obviously, which I think they should. But what about Angel? I'd like to see another Angel go in there. Now, hold on. I wanted to bring this up a second ago. I mentioned the original X-Men team, right? Bobby Drake. I'm going to say this once. If there's anything that they do for the origins of the comic for that character, make him true to the actual original source material, please. I.e., Bobby Drake, who loves the women. He was a womanizer, and it was great. Sadie Sink is greater than Sophia Turner. No, I 100% agree. Sophia Turner was god awful and a disservice to that character, and those movies were dog shit. Unfortunately, Rogue was not part of the Dark Phoenix saga. I don't think they need to do the Dark Phoenix saga. There's so much more that they can do. I need Iceman, but it'll be a big gay boy. Dude, I mean, AJ, you're probably not going to be wrong, but and because here's the thing, right? Like, they're going to be like, oh, well, like, it was like that in the comics. It's like, wait a second, you changed it for the sake of agendas in the comics. You changed that for no good reason other than, but representation, as if you didn't have other characters that were already a part of that. Right? For example, we had Psylocke in X-Men Apocalypse. Now, granted, that movie was trash, and I think Olivia Munn looked the part and did a good job. But nowhere did they say anything about her being a lesbian. Why insert that? It makes no difference to the plot of the movie. To be fair, Silver Surfer and Adam Warlock were part of the Infinity stuff that didn't stop Marvel from doing it, which is also why the Infinity Gauntlet series will be greater than the entirety of the Infinity Saga on MCU. And that was always one of my biggest critiques. I'm like, number one, that's not Hulk. That falls into the Sanctum Sanctorum. That should be Silver Surfer. And that Adam Warlock was so crucial in defeating Thanos. And the fact that he wasn't there, but yet you teased him at the end of the second Guardians of the Galaxy movie. Or is it the first one? I forget which one of it was. But you teased him that he was coming, and then you give us some slop Adam Warlock in the third Guardians of the Galaxy movie. Like, dude, I hate it so much. I blame James Gunn and Kevin Feige for that. Speaking of Bobby Drake, I also hate the Nightcrawler change where Mystique is his dad and not his mom. Like, what the fuck? Where do they make that change? They talk about it in season 2 of X-Men 97, actually. And they said that Mystique was his mom and Rogue's mom, and that Sabretooth is his father. By the time these movies come out, though, I'm sure the political landscape will shift back to the left and we'll just, but I don't know, man. I don't think so. I think the left is so far done right now. I don't know who they would actually try to put forth that would beat a few different people from the right. Not saying that they're the best choices, but like, I don't think there's anyone that could beat JD Vance or Marco Rubio right now. Or Xana Arquette looks like Samara Weaving. Strong disagree. That's kind of the point. The writers buffet style the lore and just pick and choose whatever they want and instead of being more authentic. Yeah, they're I think they're gonna, when they're making these movies, they're just gonna pick and choose, like, oh, we should put that on here, we should put this over here, and then looking at like, but there's really no cohesiveness that makes a well-rounded story. And then I mean, it's kind of like this kind of the problem with Spider-Man Brand New Day, right? Like, and especially when you hear the director saying, oh, we actually didn't have Jean Grey in mind, or like, or whatever it was, like we went to Kevin Feige and he had no idea that we were going to use Jean Grey. It's like, in fact, Jean Grey wasn't even the person we wanted to use in the first place. It's like, then why didn't you actually have a real villain for Spider-Man instead? But you're going to go ahead and throw Jean Grey into the mix and then make her a villain? Please get Apocalypse right this time. I mean, I think having like a well done Apocalypse arc with Cable could be cool. Yeah, retconned it in 2023. Probably Disney's fault. Same with Civil War, my favorite by MCU standards, but pale in comparison to the comic. That movie should have been a part 1 and 2, and they started the Spider-Punisher dynamic. Yeah. Yeah, and apparently Punisher's going to have I don't know how true this is, but Punisher's going to have a big role in the Secret Wars, which I'm like, I don't know why, but yeah, like the Civil War comic, I like the Civil War movie far more than the Civil War comic. There's parts of the comic that are cool, but there's other parts that are just kind of wonky. But yeah, it's the same thing because of the split side, that when Spider-Man joins the Cap side, right? I think it'll swing back Democratic next presidency. I could be wrong. It seems the trend. I would bet Fetterman could have a go, but he's not in play because he doesn't toe the leftist line. Yeah, I mean, it would be interesting if he ever tried to like make a switch to a Republican to do that, you know, as an option. But I mean, he seems like he's been pretty base for a while now. But I mean, it's like not to get too political, but like not that I mind getting political, but just not in the stream right now. But it's kind of like you've got like Bill Maher saying how he's done with the left and that he's going to be voting like more Republican. We'll see if that's actually true, but you know, it is interesting because it makes me think that like how much do the Democrats actually have left? Because it doesn't seem like they've got much at all. But X-Men Apocalypse looks like Power Rangers baddie Ivan Ooze from Power Rangers. Yeah, that movie was terrible. Mystique is still his mom, but she morphed into a guy and impregnated Destiny, and Destiny carried Nightcrawler in the comics, now similar to Monster Girl in Invincible, if you've read that comic. I've not read that comic. I still keep meaning to, but that's retarded. Is Ms. Marvel part of the X-Men in the MCU? Well, Ms. Marvel should be separate, not part of the X-Men. Fly in my face. But Demon in the Bottle was so good, and Tony Stark is the golden boy of MCU now. They had it right there. That is very true. Very true. To be fair, it's not their fault. There's just so many stories, iterations they to pick and choose from. It's an American comic issue that gave way to the Frankenstein adaptations. Yeah. I think for the sake of, like, you know, when you have too many writers and they implore their own stories into these characters, and then the characters change and they go in different arcs, right? It gets problematic because, granted, there's some stories that have come from different writers that are better than others. And so it's like there are pros and cons. Maybe it could be like a double-edged sword of swapping writers, and maybe maybe a writer is kind of just over a character, which I don't know why they would be if they have a job and like what they're writing. But I think it is excuse me, one of those things where or maybe contractual thing too. But I do agree with you, AJ, where it's like, to where do you start and where do you go from the comics? And I think too, like, there's not a lot of people out there, like I think the general audience hasn't read a lot of Marvel comics in general, or like specifically X-Men comics. So then when we say like, well, they should just pick from this comic or this arc, this run, right? Because it would make for a good story. And then they have, you know, years of material to do, but at the same time, like, they don't do that. They just think, oh, well, we'll make up our own story and we'll change things that maybe has either one, come from the worst version of that character, or two, was never a part of any source material from those comics. Much like we see here from Jean Grey in Spider-Man Brand New Day. And then people will try to come up with excuses of justifying it and thinking it's good. Yo, what's up, Jim? Welcome back. Also, is Morph a they, them? I saw that online. He came out as non-binary, but I could have sworn they call Morph him in the show. Yeah, I think initially they did say that. But I think writing-wise, from my recollection, I don't think they've ever said, like, or referred to him as they, them. I think I've always just said his name, like Morph. Which, again, like, what? Why not just show the original Morph face, like where he had looked human, like, you know? Why change it from the original comic run? Oh, you're talking about Ms. Marvel. Yeah, no. Yeah, she's a... God. I never watched that show, but I did see that part. And I was like, no. She is an inhuman. Inhuman. Like Medusa. Like Black Bolt. She's not a mutant. You stupid, moronic people. God. That was one of the things I'm like, I no. Nope. Too many cooks spoil the both. Too many cooks. I'm not sure if I've seen the video, but I think I meant broth. Yeah. Marvel and Star Wars are the two IPs that I'm overly picky about just because I've been a fan for decades and very familiar with the lore. Oh, yeah. I mean, it's like between Star Wars, X-Men / Marvel, and Lord of the Rings. Those are like the three things that I'm very picky about and will be outspoken about. It's the Rings of Power problem. I was just thinking that. If they think they are writing the stories that the original authors couldn't write, instead of sticking to the source material closely, it doesn't need to be a 1-for-1. Right. It's like all this stuff about, which I don't know if you guys might have seen my replies and shit like that on X, where it's like, why the hell was Simon Pegg casted to voice Durin's Bane the Balrog? It never spoke. You literally have Tolkien himself say that Balrog didn't speak. You dumb fucks. Stop trying to think you can outdo the godfather of fantasy, J.R.R. Tolkien. You cannot. You're not even close to his son. Everything about Rings of Power should be burned to the fucking ground. It is awful. It is blasphemous to everything that encompasses J.R.R. Tolkien. His grandson, idiot. How dare you disrespect your grandfather like that? So fucking stupid. I'm gonna get real heated about that. I only read a select amount of comics. There are just so many stories and narrations. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot, dude. Like it's like if you have a certain character you like, then you could just maybe pick and choose at that point. I mean, you spend thousands of dollars at this point trying to collect everything. I like more from the show. He's got some funny lines. He's not bad in the show, but Phase 1 is a great example of how stories can diverge from the source material and be good. They were close enough, but isn't enough to me. Obviously, I'm just some rando from the flyover state. I agree. I mean, I think the Phase 1 had some good content, right? And it was good that we got it. And still, some of those worst movies I think were better than things we got in Phase 4 and 5. Yeah, Kamala Khan, I can't think of her name. She is. She comes from Atlantis. She's an Inhuman. Let's get it right. And they do, Jamma. That's the problem. Which I don't know why they didn't use her as a Inhuman. I'm like, don't they own the rights? The Inhumans? Marvel and Star Wars were a lot of people's favorite IPs, and Disney torched them. Simpsons 2, Disney gets hands on it, and anything popular they could buy, they thought. Yep. Yeah, this is all that this is what Simon Pegg is going to do. Pay the man. Give him a check. Yeah. You shall not speak. Yeah. Good one. Love it. I do, Jamma. They are. It's so weird because it's like I like a couple things that Amazon's doing. But, man, these decisions are just dumber than a pile of bricks covered in dog shit. Thought the same thing about his estate selling rights to the IP. Yeah, whoever's left is just disrespectful, blasphemous. I mean, it's just not good, man. There's nothing good from it. All right, Jay. I'll catch you later, brother. Yeah. Say one word, paid. Bye. Peace. Simon Pegg never took a shortcut to Danny. From a surface level search, it seems Marvel owns the right to Inhumans. Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, because I think the show was originally aired on ABC, right? And if I remember correctly, Disney also owns and has owned ABC since 1996. So why didn't they just stick to Inhumans? Yes. Well, I think Mike Flanagan just got brought on to do some stuff with Warhammer. I know there's still some, skepticism out there, but I'm a wait. I'm a wait. Until we actually see a trailer, I'm not going to really doubt anything that is coming from 40K yet. But we'll see. We still might get the, I made a joke. I was like, I think we still might get the Warhammer show before we get Batman Part 2. They would have, but the show flopped. Well, like, even though the show flopped, that doesn't mean they can't use the name, though, right? Like, that would be like your reintroduction of the Inhumans. Because then you could start building upon that. Like, I collected Black Bolt comics. Black Bolt was definitely one of my, grew to be one of my favorite characters. He's pretty damn powerful. But you got to do him right. And I'm not talking about the multiverse of madness because it's not how his powers work. They disrespected Black Bolt and Multiverse of Madness. Don't compare the MCU to the comics. It only leads to sadness and regret. Oh yeah, I'm not. It's just one of those things where like the more I get disappointed. And I was having a conversation with my buddy who's been like one of my childhood best friends since like middle school. And I was like, hey man, like as much as Wolverine is my favorite character, like Spider-Man was his favorite character. And I texted him the next day when I saw like that weekend that Spider-Man came out. I was like, hey man, you see Spider-Man? And he's like, I did. I'm like, thoughts? And like, I kid you not, it was just one of those things where he's like, it doesn't seem like he's like, he's not saying it was trash, but it's like, it just feels like Star Wars and Marvel properties are both unrecognizable. Characters feel out of place. Modern stories in both franchises miss the point of why these franchises have been so timeless, in my opinion. Still the source material and continue to buy and read new comics or ongoing comics, but the writers of the live action versions of the characters are writing for a completely different audience, it seems. And it's like, we were talking more about it, like same thing about Rings of Power, about the live action Halo scene. Like, and these producers and writers just want to get their own voice out. And then basically they use these IPs to do it. And they could really care less about the original stories and content. And it just seems like, we become, less of the target audience. Like we're just, it's like, maybe this isn't for us anymore because these things are so far changed. It's like, I understand why Leon is so angry about this movie. Why I do think it's the best Tom Holland movie, and there's a lot of Easter eggs and stuff like that in it. There are things that I disagree with, things that it could have been better. Like this whole, we were gonna do Man Spider, but like we didn't want to scare kids at the theaters, and I'm like, that is such a cop out wuss response, and an excuse or reason to do that. Black Bolt is too OP for street level BS. 100%. Like that's why you need to include him on a bigger scale. The multiverse of badness. Yeah. I think how bad it's getting invites comparison. Even Iron Man wasn't one-to-one with the comics, but nobody had an issue because Robert Downey Jr. was iconic. People compare how rigorously, like a post-mortem dissecting and pulling apart how much worse it is to drive the point home. Yeah, I mean, it's kind of like, as long as the story and plot is good, even if you change things, it's not to say that it can't be done, but it takes a certain knack to understand like how to develop a certain character arc and make you actually care about the characters, right? And it's like the problem with Brand New Day is that the problems stem from the first or the prior movies. And as I said this last Friday, where at least this movie wasn't him trapped in the shadow of someone greater than him, like the Avengers, like Tony Stark, like the other two Spider-Men in No Way Home, and it's just one of those things where at least this one allowed him to be more of himself and to have some independency, which Spider-Man needs. That's why Spider-Man never joined the X-Men. Like, why did he need to? I mean, he wasn't a mutant, but at the same time, he was different, but he didn't need to do that. Spider-Man didn't join the Avengers for a while too. I think he did eventually at some points in time, but I wanted to actually watch this real quick with you guys. This is shared by Blue Collar Loser. I don't know if you guys saw this yet. It's the Brand New Day pitch meeting. I haven't watched it yet.
So, you got a new Spider-Man movie for me? Brand New Day.
Oh, let's skip the small talk if you don't mind. I want to hear about this movie.
Okay.
So this is going to take place 4 years after Doctor Strange made everybody forget Peter Parker because Tobey Maguire's presence was going to ruin everything or something. I've heard that he has that effect on people. So what's Peter been up to? Well, he's just going to be all in on being Spider-Man. He's fighting local crime in New York like he's fighting Scorpion and Tombstone.
Oh, Scorpion and Tombstone are going to be in this, huh? What are they going to do?
Be in it just enough so we can feature them in the trailer. That's perfect. But
Which is 100% correct. And look, there are things that are like from the actual comic book covers for the little montage of villains, right? With like Boomerang and everyone else, Ramrod, like cool. Why were they just in it for like 3 seconds? I talk about the mishandling of black characters, but they weren't ever my favorites. Hulk and Spidey are, so the disrespect to them, and so the disrespect to them is sickening, right? And yeah, I can't disagree with you at all, AJ. Right? Like, it's insane, and I mean, like even the comics, like they had started to do well with T'Challa, and in fact, I think the fact that they didn't recast him, even though like because Chadwick Boseman passed away, I think was still a disservice to the character. Because Shuri should have just remained Shuri. But it's like, why not honor the character by trying to do well in his shoes and just being like, well, people could be like, oh man, you were so good as Black Panther, and you'd be like, well, guess what, man, like. Chadwick, paved the way, whatever. But I mean, at the same time, like, I really hope they don't mishandle Storm or Bishop. I'd like to see Bishop get some more spotlight time in a movie, but we'll see.
But I think it's going to be refreshing to have Spider-Man on the street again, after all the cosmic and wizarding magical stuff he's been through. Hey, that's the great thing about green screen and CGI, so we can do whatever we want. Actually, I was thinking we do a lot more practical stuff. Have a human in the suit a lot of the time, but computers can do that. But I'm thinking maybe they shouldn't all the time. Maybe this one can feel like less than of Adobe After Effects composition than the other ones. You sound crazy, man, but all right, we'll try it. Oh, and also we're going to have Black Widow in this a little bit. Florence Pugh. Oh, what's she doing here? Well, nobody went to see her Thunderbolts movie, so we got to let the general public know that the new Avengers are a thing.
Nobody went to go see her movie. Yikes. It's true. I don't like her part in this, and I think it was unnecessary. It was just a reminder. Like, hey, remember Thunderbolts? New Avengers that we changed in the end and then changed the marketing behind it that no one really cared about? Yeah.
Before Doomsday comes out.
Got it.
Oh, and also he's going to work with the Punisher sometimes, and they have very different methods, so it's fun. You know, Spider-Man's more wholesome. Punisher, he like does, you know, brutal killings. Oh, he does do that quite often. He's taken so many lives. But he's a big old goofball too. So Peter and him team up to fight this telepath that seems to control people and do bad guy stuff. Oh, very scary and intense. At a certain point, this telepath makes an old man step in front of a car. Whoa. Yeah. If that car was moving, that could have been awful. No, it was moving. Oh my God. Yeah, this friggin' telepath is ruthless. And Peter finds out that they keep attacking the Department of Damage Control looking for something called VMAX. Ooh, is that like a workout supplement? No.
That did pop in my head when I was watching the movie. I'm like, VMAX. It sounds like a freaking pre-workout or something like that. Hilarious. Even her own family didn't see her movie. That's terrible. If Yelena would have just stood up in the bath, her entire existence of the film would have been justified. Right. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like you didn't even show like top boob at that point. Like there was nothing. Like whether it's but meanwhile we'll show basically Peter Parker with his mask on and boxers, you know. Whatever.
Is this a jacked mind control person? Is this Chris Angel? It's not Chris Angel, no, and the Department of Damage Control wants Peter to kind of take care of this because he seems to be immune. Hasn't the Department of Damage Control been pretty uncool to Peter in the past? Yeah, but he trusts them wholeheartedly and gets right on the case for them.
A very trusting Spider-Man.
And meanwhile, Peter's also going through some changes. Ah, well, it's about time. I was starting to get a little worried. It's gonna be weird to hear him with a deep voice. Actually, he seems to be kind of mutating into more of a spider and less of a Peter. He's got heightened senses. He's got organic web stuff oozing out of him.
Having new stuff ooze out of you is tight.
But he can't really seem to actually control this. It's becoming kind of a problem. He accidentally injures a cop. Oh, sounds like maybe he needs to make a little device to block the spider stuff. Inhibitor. And he bitter too? Whoosh, jeez. No, I said inhibitor. It makes him less of a spider. Nah, I would say that biting someone is very spider-like. He definitely needs some kind of little device now.
I know, dude. Why not have a nip slip? Something like that. Yep. No top boob. No side boob either. You could have done either of those. VMAX is the generic subtitle for Cialis. There we go. This has been great, by the way. Everything that he's mentioned is exactly what I had thought in the theater.
Now. Yeah, good idea. I'm very good at this. Anyway, eventually we're gonna find out that this telepath is actually Jean Grey. She's from X-Men Apocalypse. She is, amongst other things. Wow, Spider-Man must freak out. No, because he hasn't seen the X-Men movies. Right. So yeah, obviously this is kind of a big thing. We're really bringing the X-Men into the MCU here.
Oh yeah.
So who do you think we should get to play this part? Oh, we could just pull the same move as last time. Grab the redhead from whatever TV show has been recently popular with young adults.
I mean, it writes itself. It's spot on. Where's the lie?
I mean, we don't need to cast a natural redhead. We could dye anyone's hair red and get canceled. No, thank you. That probably would happen. I refuse to have any imagination on this point. Sadie Sink it is. So she starts targeting Peter since he's working for damage control, and she can't get inside his head, so she's like, what's going on there?
Because he's all gooed up with spider webs in there? That's where he stores that stuff?
No, so she freaking mind controls the Punisher and the Hulk and MJ. She's just attacking Peter from all angles. Did she make MJ punch him or something? No, that one was more of a psychological attack. She takes over MJ, kisses Peter, acts like the kiss brought back her memory, then laughs at Peter, then as MJ jumps off a building, so he has to like rush and save her. Jeez! But we're gonna find out she's actually trying to find her sister who was taken by damage control.
I mean, when you listen to it again, you just think, what the hell are they doing here with Jean Grey? Bring in Jean Grey, make her a mass murderer, Brilliant. Yeah, people were supposed to like Jean Grey. If anything, you could say girls might want to be Jean Grey. But now, if a girl goes, "Well, I like Jean Grey. I want to be like Jean Grey," like, you want to be a mass murderer? Oh, you're talking about from the comic book, or the cartoon, okay. Ironic that the writers chose to give Peter enhanced hearing mutation, considering spiders don't have ears. Yeah, they didn't. It's like, I know they finally tried to give him the spider sense and get rid of that stupid Peter Tingle crap. That was cheesy and cringe as hell. What is the motivation for this? Doesn't even make her morally ambiguous, just makes her crazy. Yeah. Because sister missing.
Still, is that not fully redemptive? Uh-oh, that might come back to bite me later. I feel like if she had just mentioned that she's trying to rescue her sister, this whole thing could have been avoided. Yeah, but the movie has to happen, so she's gonna keep her entire life's purpose as a little secret just for herself.
Fair enough.
Oh, and then also MJ finds this love letter that Peter wrote to her, but she's like, well, I don't love you because I don't know you. Super selfish of her, very disappointing behavior. And then some more bad stuff's gonna happen. We're gonna find out that VMAX isn't actually a protein powder, but rather a sticker, and it's the last thing that Jean's sister saw before she died at damage control. Oh my god, I bet Jean's gonna be pissed when she finds that out.
Also, that is incorrect. I mean, she does have an older sister. Older sister has kids. Her older sister does die, but not in these means.
He is! I bet. She gets so angry and powerful, she freezes a bunch of people inside a big radius like old senile Professor X. Uh-oh. And she mind controls some ninjas to attack Peter, and he's gonna have to fully embrace his new mutations if he wants to beat them. Is that gonna be hard to do?
Actually, it's gonna be super easy. Barely an inconvenience.
Oh, really? Yeah, see, it's pretty much the end of the movie, and he really wants to now. Well, great! And then Peter lets Jean inside his head, and she is just absolutely moved by seeing Aunt May, so she decides to be a good guy now. Was she not moved by the stuff she saw in the Punisher's mind or the Hulk's mind? They've been through some stuff. Yeah, well, the thing is, their memories didn't star Marissa Tomei. That's a fair point. I didn't consider that. So Peter's like, Jean, you're not a killer. Yes, she is. No, she's not. She made an old guy walk in front of a car. Well, we don't know that that guy died for sure.
The fact that he's using this is hilarious. Because that's the argument. Oh, we don't know he died. Is it because we don't see him dead on screen that he's not dead? That shtick. I mean, I don't love you because I don't know you. That was from Jean mind controlling. I don't know how it's disappointing. Why would MJ love him when she doesn't know him? Right, and that was one of the things I was like, why would Peter think that she would automatically like love him when he realizes that she has no recollection? Like, honestly, like, Spider-Man's supposed to be smart, and he just seemed pretty stupid in this point. So does damage control provide the hand guards with extra sets of ninja outfits, or they just wear the same ones that they do laundry every day? I think they'll get one uniform. That's it.
Sure. Still, she's just not a killer. She just doesn't have it in her. She made MJ jump off a building. Didn't die. Didn't die. Redemption arc complete. Now get all the way off my back about it. All right. Let me remove myself from your backside. Oh, don't say that way. So how does the movie end? Well, Jean lets everybody go, but Frank had freaking already fired a sniper rifle at her, so Spider-Man jumps in front of the bullet. He steps in front of a bullet. That kind of thing will get you shot where I'm from. Yeah, that's how that works everywhere. So Punisher carries Spider-Man to the hospital and then stays by his side, and it's kind of sweet. Isn't the Punisher like a super wanted fugitive? He just carries Spider-Man into a hospital and hangs out for a while? He does, and then he helps Spider-Man escape by dressing up like him and grunting like a gorilla. What? It's John Bernthal. He's got a grunt somewhere in the script. It's in his contract. Right. And so that's about it. Oh, also, a post-credit scene. We're gonna see there's this spider tracker that Ned made, and it shows that Spider-Man Spider-Man's in outer space. What? Avengers, anyone? Wait, so the Spider-Man tracker actually has a tracker on Spider-Man? No, it just works with, like, reported sightings of Spider-Man. So we're saying that someone reported that they saw Spider-Man in outer space? Hey, shut up. So what do you think?
That's too good. But it's accurate.
Well, listen, let me put it this way. It doesn't even really matter what I say here. It's gonna smash cut to an article about how successful this movie was. What are you talking about? See? Oh, wow, look at that.
Hi, this is Ryan George from the...
That was good. Well done. Well done. Old man didn't die. He was just paralyzed from the neck down and broke every bone in his body. It was just, every bone in his body was broken. Gene wasn't so bad after all. Right. Because near death is not as bad as pure death. Or as Vulture would say, I'll kill you dead to Peter. Kill you dead. As if killing you doesn't have the implication that you will die and be dead. To be fair, if someone doesn't die on screen in the MCU, they are probably not dead, at least not for long. Even if they do die on screen, that doesn't mean they are dead. Yeah, exactly. There's no stakes. It's kind of like when people get stabbed, when people get impaled with a lightsaber in Star Wars, they actually don't die. They live most of the time, except for Qui-Gon. Yeah, that's great. No. Hey, shut up is one of his best catchphrases. Yeah. That was super good. That was on point, honestly. I enjoyed that. Dude, AJ, I was actually thinking of the same thing. The guy that got hit will somehow make a return in like the next Spider-Man movie and be like he'll get his memory back and be like, damn, I remember talking to you and I got hit by a car. I'm not dead. But yeah, you got mind controlled. Sorry, man. Lightsabers are self-cauterizing weapons. Yeah. That was one of the lamest arguments out there. Well, we didn't actually see old man get hit by the taxi die. Yeah. V dumb. VMAX? V dumb. Gene sent him it's like a get well soon message, so it's okay. Yeah. You'll be okay, the guy that I made step out in front of a taxi. You'll be okay. Yeah, I still want to like write a review and like put it on like critic lists. But I'm still kind of writing something up right now. I might go see it again. I'm not sure. We'll see though. I was also trying to think about what other movies are coming out soon, which I don't think there's very many that are coming out. That I really want to see. I might go see the end of Oak Street. That looks like it might be funny. I mean, Godzilla is probably the next big one I'm looking forward to. That's right. Clayface comes out in October. I might go see that. The trailer wasn't bad. Super Troopers 3, maybe. We'll see. A lightsaber would only boil your insides. It would, like, your whole insides turn into steam almost instantly. Yeah. We didn't see the people actually die after a bomb was dropped in Oppenheimer, so they were okay, right? 100%. There's a few horror movies coming out soon, so they have potential. Violent Night 2. Oh, yeah. When's that come out? You look at a movie list. Right. Let's see here. We're at August. Let's see. Super Troopers comes out today. End of Oak Creek is next week. Some re-releases that are happening. Let's see here. New Insidious movies, the 21st of August. I got another Jason Statham movie called Mutiny on the 21st of August. Let's see here. September. Onslaught. Oh yeah, get that Resident Evil movie in September. That's probably gonna have some some commenting on for sure. Let's see, October. Street Fighter. That's right, in October. Clayface. What else is in November? Godzilla Minus Zero, of course. After this, the new Ebenezer movie with Johnny Depp. I'll probably watch that. Madden with Nick Cage and a few other folks. That comes out on Prime Video in November. New Hunger Games movie, just whatever. Meet the Parents 4, because why? Probably will not go see that one. In December, Violent Night 2. Avengers Doomsday, Doom Part 3, Jumanji 3, Werewolf. I'm looking forward to Werewolf. I hope Werewolf's good. December is going to be a big month. That'd be interesting. Deadly for males only. I'm positive that Liam will have something to say about Resident Evil. Oh, dude, yeah, 100%. There's gonna be a few people that I'm sure are gonna talk about the Resident Evil movie. I know Drinker's a big Resident Evil fan, so I expect him to talk about it probably on Open Bar, and then also probably like he'll probably make a video on it too. So next thing on my radar is Akira 4K IMAX in September. Yeah, I mean, there's some re-releases, right? Transformers movie. A lot of like some other re-releases coming out this year. The new Grown-Ups movie, you say? First set photo. I mean, it could be good. Could be good. It's going to be about everyone having a midlife crisis because all the kids are adults now and they want to feel young and alive again. So they resort to calling up the gang and doing something they haven't done in decades to realize They actually just need each other. A very plausible plot by McLovin. Hey, yeah, why are people throwing out shade on Rob Schneider? Stop putting Rob Schneider in things. Could be good. Yeah. Dead by Daylight adaptation? Oh. Interesting. The only thing I didn't talk about yet was I'll just mention briefly. I did watch Ted Lasso this morning. I don't want to say like it's super woke by any means. I know that seasons 2 and season 3 started to get like really heavy on like the messaging. But like the thing I enjoyed about Ted Lasso season 1 was like the themes, and like I don't like what they were starting to do in this episode, where it's like, here's Ted Lasso working part-time at a grocery store, and then he's stealing food because that's the full-time thing you can do. I'm like, so you're imploring people to steal food from a grocery store, and then like he still has this reluctancy to be who he's truly supposed to be. And it's like, he seems like a decent dad. He's still divorced with his wife or ex-wife, but they have a decent relationship, it seems. Kids growing up, kids in soccer, kids got pretty good at soccer. And then of course, here comes Polly, Rebecca, and what's his face? Wiggins. I mean, the kid stealing cigarettes is whatever. But even then though, like, it's just one of those things where there's a better way to do it, that like to go about it than saying, oh, look, I'm stealing too. But this is still the Ted Lasso that should have gotten over like his fear of becoming who he's supposed to be. Because like now they're just going back to London, which I knew that was going to happen before the end of this episode. So I don't know, but to coach a women's team because of the culture he brought when he first was doing the men's team, we'll see. We'll see. I mean, I'm pretty sure we're going to see things like, oh, we don't need a man to coach. Tell us how to coach a women's team, because there's other woman coach that's there that I think apparently like hates everyone. So I'm not gonna say the season's bad or anything like that. It was only one episode, so but I'll probably talk about it on a weekly basis just to kind of see where we're at. But I would hope they would get back the form of like what season 1 had. But it's like when he's like, oh, how are you and Roy doing? And it's like, we're still good friends. It's just friends, huh? It's like, yeah, it's complicated. It's like, dude, just the fact that they just made her go like, you know, turn into a lesbian or whatever it was, or be bisexual. I don't know. I was just like, there's no need for that. And season 3 sucked. The Fox News joke about joke, and then all the black girl soccer stuff was just too on the nose. Yeah. Yep. Do you think the earliest seasons of Ted Lasso hold up, or do you view it more unfavorably with its current trajectory in mind? I think the first season of Ted Lasso was great. And especially like, and the time when it came out during like the worst months of like COVID, came out of nowhere, and it was like, oh, this actually has like some hope to it. It actually had some like more positive themes to it. And there was no real agenda. There wasn't any sort of propaganda or like messaging that was trying to evoke some sort of like a lot of these double standards that are getting pushed around or got pushed around for years during like Biden's presidency, for example. Right. So I had thought about going back and watching season 1 again just to remember parts about it because I remember bits and pieces. But season 1 was great. Roy's in this season mostly, but Jamie isn't because I think the actress. Yeah, and that was the other thing, man. Like the fact that you don't have Jamie Tart in this. Like Jamie Tart was such a great character, especially like when Jamie started to have his redemption arc in season 3, and like being that player, and obviously he had problems with his father. That's what Ted was kind of helping him with. Like, I wish they would have held off. And again, I don't even know if it's way too early to tell, but by the end of the season, we'll be able to recognize and say like whether or not this season should have been made in the first place. Stick on Apple with Owen Wilson is very similar to Ted Lasso, but with golf. It's only got a couple of woke jokes and shit, but it's good. I recommend. Yeah, I haven't watched it yet. But I had heard that it is very similar to Ted Lasso. So there's a couple shows I'm like just behind on Apple to watch, that being one of them. But I thought to myself, like, okay, here's what's going to happen. He's going to realize like that's who it is. And the moment he's looking at that plaque on the wall from his dad, like being like the top salesman, and then you can hear that like higher ringing tone, like he started almost having like this like episode again. And he goes to his mom's like, why didn't you ask me about my job? And he's like, oh, I'm sure I have. And it's like, no one does. Because it's like people realize that's not what he should be doing. He was good at being a soccer coach or football coach, and he walked away from it. Now, I understand like wanting to be with your family and try to hash things over with your son, or sorry, hash things over with your ex-wife and try and make your family whole again. But by the episode, I'm like, okay, the son's good at soccer, gets kicked out. There's something that's affecting his play, and it's probably just before when the car ride, like the possibility that his dad might be moving back to London. I get that, but I'm like, but it seems like what could happen is they go over to London, and he starts playing soccer there, football there, and maybe people realize like, oh man, Ted, like your son's actually pretty good. Like maybe we should kind of have him go to school here and then start to play football more, and then there's, room for more expansions, I suppose, or just the idea that Ted's son is good at football and then therefore gets to do that for a living in London, right? That could be a total route they go or a hint at in the future, but thought because they showed his kid being good at soccer and they were going to lean in that needs to go to Richmond to be their youth. Exactly. Yep. Yeah, because they have better youth programs. Yeah. Yep. I think it's exactly what's going to happen. There might be some pushback because it's like, oh, we don't need an American here, but maybe not. Maybe they're more open. Maybe again, someone knows someone because of Ted being for Richmond, but the thing I'm I don't say apprehensive about, but it's like, what are the other characters that they're gonna bring in to the show? Like, what other characters are we gonna like or dislike? How much Roy Kent are we going to see? I think Roy Kent was definitely one of my favorite characters. He's here. He's there. He's every fucking where Roy Kent. So we'll see. I mean, again, decent first episode. You know, not fantastic. It was more so like the, you know, member berries of like the intro. They're like, oh, look at all these shows. Like, and they're all kind of saying like, welcome back, GOAT. And I'm like, okay. Yeah, I remember you said that earlier. The girls' team is going to be all fucking each other. Yeah, I mean, we could get some heavy messaging, and that's kind of what I'm afraid of. So, time will tell. The next episode isn't until next Wednesday, so we still got a ways to go, but you know, we shall see. We shall see. So, with that being said, had a fun stream with you guys. I am starving now because it is past lunchtime here. Let's see who's streaming right now. I think Nerd Wars Urban still is before FNT. So we'll just set up a nice little raid for him. Monday night we're talking Lincoln Lawyer. Tuesday we're talking House of the Dragon season 3 finale. I'll be on ABS stream Wednesday, more than likely. And then Thursday, we got the big Helldivers patch update. Will I be on FNT? Not today. I don't know if I'll ever be. It'd be cool, but, you know, if it happens, it happens, you know? Oh, actually, I don't know if it is on today. That's a good point because they're in Vegas, right? Oh, I don't know. I totally forgot they're in Vegas. I don't know if there's anything set up. Yeah, apparently there is a setup for today for FNT. Spider-Man Doomed, Avengers / Villainous X-Men, Rings of Power, Desolation, FNT Vegas 418. So yeah, it looks like Vegas is still happening. I don't know what the setup's gonna be like, but I will more than likely tune in as I am eating some food and whatnot. Circle of Jerks greater than FNT. Shout out. They doing a live one in Vegas. Yeah. I would love to see you on FNT one day. Didn't realize you hadn't been on. No, I've never been on before. So been on open bar a couple times. You know, I don't know. I one of the things I might do is I'm gonna try and do it, but like eventually we're gonna cover Lord of the Rings on Masculine Mondays, right? And I'm like, who else would be better to invite than Gary? Because I know Gary knows a lot about everything in Tolkien. So I'm probably gonna reach out to him to see if he'd be interested in joining for Masculine Mondays. We'll talk about Fellowship of the Ring more than likely in December. And then, you know, depending on how that goes, maybe sometime next year. You know, who knows, right? Like, I mean, I'm definitely one of those types of people where it's like, if it happens, it happens. You know, I'm not going to push, press, or beg people to put me on their show, right? I'm a grown ass adult. I'm not a kid anymore. Like, I need to be on FNT now to put me on, Gary. No, I'm not like that. Like, you know, it's like I never asked to be on open bar either, right? Like, Drinker reached out to me one day and was like, hey man, like, someone recommended you, looked at your stuff, like what you said, would you want to join on? I was like, dude, absolutely. I appreciate the opportunity, right? And so honestly, like, would you be mad if I begged for him to have you on? Look, and like, it's like saying if people, it's like people recommended me to Drinker when that happened, right? I've never spoken to Drinker at all prior to the point when he messaged me, you know, and you know, again, since I've been on, I think I've been on what 2 or 3 times now. He came on my show for Rambo. He's going to be on again in the near future. This month, I will say that. So, you know, it's just like, we're just here to make, you know, not so much make content, but we're here to talk about movies and have a good time. You know, that's basically one of the reasons why I do this, you know. But look, if people want to vouch for me, I won't stop you from doing that. You know what I'm saying? Like, again, if you think that, you know, I'd be a good fit or whatever, then by all means, you know. It's like Gooch I never begged Gooch to be on Gooch's show or Zach's show. Like, you know, like it just kind of like organically, naturally happened. And I think that's like the best parts. You make friends at that point. Lord of the Rings Unmasked will be so good, and Gary's a huge Lord of the, I know. Yeah. I don't know if both of them will be able to do it at the same time. But I think, you know, for the sake of if they could, then potentially. Otherwise, I'll see who's available. I know Gary is. I'm not sure. I've never spoken to Mahler about Lord of the Rings. The fine line between self-promotion and self-absorbment is a traversal of precariousness. I mean, it's like, it was sort of like when I was in a band, drunk, like where it made like networking has always been a thing, right? You network your business, you talk to people, you talk to investors, right? Like trying to build something. And I think in terms of, you know, we never asked to play, you know, it's like one of those things where like how we got local radio play, like when on the biggest radio station down in South Florida at the time, like one of the guys from the radio station was at one of our shows, ironically, and like just said, "Oh, hey, you guys are really good." And we're like, "Great." And we're like, "Oh, who are you?" And like, you know, I was like, "Oh, I'm Nick and I play drums." And, you know, it's like, "Oh yeah, I work at the Buzz." And we're like, "Oh, that's cool. Yeah." And like, it's just like through natural, like, you know, like, "Hey, like, you know, if you, want to, you know, we'll give you one of our EPs or CDs, you know." And it's like, "Yeah, I like what you guys played live, so I'll check it out." Right. And, you know, and then at that point it's like, cool. Then like we get played on, you know, like when they play more indie stuff or like, you know, rock stuff on like, you know, certain nights. And so like, it was really surreal to hear like one of the songs that you wrote and made on the radio station. I know people don't usually like listen to the radio station anymore. It's like, you know, Spotify or whatever, but going back like 15 years ago, like that was a little bit longer than that. But that was a big deal, you know, but that kind of just happened organically, like through conversation, like meeting someone and just not be like, "Oh my God, like, can you please play us on the radio?" Like we never said that. Right. Like when we got picked to play on Warped Tour, it was like, "Oh my God, please pick us, please pick us." It was just like, I mean, if we get picked, we get picked. If we do, then, you know, it was maybe meant to be. I don't know. You know, something. So I was great at an open bar. And I think FNT is, I appreciate that, man. I sincerely, I do. I mean, I know FNT has got more people on it at one time, you know? And I know it's like a really like talking over, you know, is it just a thing and which I just accept, but yeah, I mean, maybe you know, depending on the topic, it could be a good thing too, right? So, in the car, still listen to radio. That's good, man. That's good. What's your band name? Is your band on Apple? Apple. It is. We're on Apple and Spotify. So, I'll type it in the chat though. Here. It's Leading the Heroes. That was my first band. Music industry is still great crossover to this topic. The self-promotion is necessary at points, especially when you were smaller in terms of following, unless you know the YouTube version of Diddy. Yeah. And it's so when I left my previous band and like I was living in South Florida and I moved to Orlando, you know, like one of the things that happened was like I wasn't playing in a band for a bit. I was kind of still playing music and jamming with some folks because like I wanted to start a new band, but no one had the devotion or like real like passion to do it. So until I did meet like a couple talented people in like they were I mean I was my late 20s at the time and they were like in their early 20s, but we vibed and you know they were ironically their drummer just left their band and so like, when we were talking at like a meeting, they're like, oh, what do you do? And I was like, I play drums and I've done this, and they're like, oh, we just lost our drummer. And I'm like, well, that's a coincidence. And then we recorded in Maryland for 2 months, and I got to meet a lot of other bigger people in music that I'm still friends with. And, you know, so I got real close again the second time to being able to play music for a living. But the problem is when you have when you have competing sides and when you have the person who has all the money funding the project making the decisions, then things get real muddy and the problems arose. And then everyone kind of went their separate ways. I like them more than FNT. FNT is too chaotic with so many people for me. Yeah, I mean, like, I haven't watched FNT a lot lately. Kind of just really depends on what I'm doing, but yeah, I mean, FNT can get a little get a little crazy. What's up, Liza? How you doing? Right place at the right time is another great way to get exposure, right? And that's something like you can't plan for, right? Like it is literally right place, right time. Like, you know, same thing. Like, do you release a video at the right moment and that just starts to pick up traction because you decided to talk about a certain thing, right? Like, I mean, it is a matter of like happenstance because you can't predict these things. You could try to plan for them, but sometimes that doesn't go the way you want it to. And then it's like, well, if it doesn't go the way you want it to, then you can't be mad about it because maybe it wasn't just the right time, right place. But yeah, that definitely can't happen. So drummers, I hit stuff with slightly smaller stuff. You're a drummer too? Awesome, dude. Yeah, I've always said I hit pig skins with wooden sticks and metal sheets. But just like the guy who released Richmond, north of Richmond. Yeah. Very true. Yeah, that guy wasn't looking to do anything and he just blew up. That was like what, 2023, right? 2024? If I remember correctly. But yeah, when I left that band, Lee and the Heroes, we were I don't even say I was probably halfway through recording drums when I left. So there were some songs on the last album we put out that were me and then not. But you know, I thought about talking some music on a Friday stream, but you know, 20. Okay, that makes because I think it was before. I think it was like we needed a song like that because of everything that was happening, and it was like during Biden's presidency when it was just all. But so, but yeah, that wasn't the name of my old band. We're on. So there are some live shows on YouTube, ironically, still. I think some got taken down. I have an old one on my computer that was from like 2007, I want to say. We played in this auditorium in West Palm Beach. It was outdoors at night. It was nice though. There's a decent amount of people there. Oh God, who was it? Oh, something was a good one earlier. I was saying about guitar players, or at least drummers can keep rhythm and time. Maybe I'll play it. Maybe we'll do like a music session, or half of a music stream one day. I don't know, but yeah, we'll see. We'll see what happens. Listen, all you guys watching on YouTube and X, I haven't even checked Kick to see if anyone's watching on Kick. If you are, shout out. And then, yeah, well, I'll see you guys Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday next week, something like that. So, at some point, I will be making videos again, maybe later this year. So, but I hope you guys enjoy the rest of your Friday. Enjoy your weekend. Stay safe. Have fun. Live your life. Don't work too hard if you are working in the weekend. Yep, exactly. Stay safe. Stay free, everyone.